Oh, I miss the way you smile that smile. I miss you, girl, and your carefree style. Oh, how it came to an end, I really don't remember. First love will go on and on and on. That's what you mean. That's what you mean.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Let's be honest. Wheelchairs are heavy, bulky, and ugly. If you carry a wheelchair in your car to take care of a loved one, you know how hard it is getting that clunky, old-style wheelchair in and out of your car. Introducing the Feather Chair Wheelchair. At 13 pounds, it's the world's lightest wheelchair. It folds in seconds and fits neatly in your trunk, backseat, or closet, so you can take it everywhere. And it's only available right here. Order yours today and get a free wheelchair case, a $50 value, yours free. The Feather Chair. The world's lightest wheelchair is just $4.99 with easy payments as low as $16 a month. Sorry, no Medicare or insurance accepted. So call right now to order yours.
800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
Nowhere but Texas. That's where I'll be. Get home's the answer to all my dreams. I know one thing. God calls me. Nowhere but Texas.
Good morning, Johnson County, and welcome to another edition of the County Pulse with your host, Mayor Chris Fletcher. I am Tiffany Carlin. Sarah Reeves is driving the bus today for me, and of course, we have a guest. We just saw him a little bit ago. DeWayne Burns is still in the house, and that would be District House 58, of course, and he is running for that position again. So, welcome everybody. Good morning, Mr. Mayor.
How you doing, ma'am?
Good to see you.
Good to see you. You be careful on the road.
Well, thank you. You guys, you take it over from here.
There we go. It's an honor today.
It's an honor today.
Yep, I've already been to the Center of ASD fundraiser, amazing group.
Awesome.
Talked about what they were going to do, the goals they have, and that's a great organization. That if you ever get a chance, go through their center, but be prepared when you leave to have a tear in your eye. What they do is amazing. We got our first sponsor.
Oh.
Yep. Alpha Omega is helping
Alpha
us out
Omega.
to
All
help
right.
pay for the show, and the city doesn't have anything to do with that. So wanted to get that out
Disclaimer.
there. Disclaimer. Thank you very much. And, you know, there's a lot of things going on in our town. We've got the elections going on. Amanda's taking care of that. If you want to be a part of that, sign up to help with the elections. That's always available. You only have to be 16 years old. They pay like $16 an hour.
Well, that's a pretty good pay.
And Amanda feeds them. So if you want to be a part of that, and that's a great way to get started and understand how things work. So, and we do have everybody's going to the sub courthouse. We have gotten that changed in a way where, remember, this is just the primaries.
Right.
This is
just
the final
starting
vote.
block.
This is just a starting block. But everybody go to the sub courthouse to get that done. But what I'm excited about today is my buddy sitting next to me, State Representative DeWayne Burns.
DeWayne Burns.
We got some visiting to do, like we always do, and
well, thanks for having me.
we never know where this is going to
No,
go.
we don't have a no.
DeWayne Burns from the state house to our house.
Yeah.
In the house.
In the house.
Yeah.
We got similar stories,
Yeah.
you know, and between you and me and Scott, Mayor Kane, and we don't know when to shut up sometimes.
That's
so
right.
that's the reason we got Sarah here to kind of
Well, hell.
pull on the halter there a little bit.
That's
So
right.
anyway, it's a great day. I want to thank Tim for being a part of this and helping us keep moving this along.
Yeah.
So
All right. Can't wait. Let's
excellent.
go.
Well, hey, I got a question for you though, if you don't mind. I don't want to take over your deal here at all, because it's not really. But I do want to know a little bit about the County Pulse, the show you got here, and why you're doing it, and how you got into it. If you don't mind telling me and everybody else kind of what you're up to here, I'm curious.
Blindsided me on that one, but yeah, I don't.
I know.
No. The County Pulse is something. There's a lot of. We lost our newspaper.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a newspaper anymore.
Yeah.
So when it's time to do elections, or we need to get something in front of the public, we're relying on Facebook and our website. And there's a lot of people that just, Facebook has got issues. People don't get on there anymore. And so this is a way to get the word out to the whole county. Well, yeah, that's great for Burleson, but it's going to be kind of a boring show all the whole time. And one of the things that has happened, thanks to Mayor Kane and Cleburne, and we have brought all of the mayors together, and we have sit downs and visit And we kind of copied Parker County and the way their county and the ISDs, the cities and the county all came together for their bond packages, getting their roads done. And the main reason for doing that is to support each town between us. If Joshua's doing something and Burleson's not doing anything, we're going to promote it.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to promote everything. Eventually, we want to have a website that you go to that one website and every town is there and you can click on it, see the elected officials, see their events, get everything done. But the main purpose of this is to get us start working together on our roads. The state has told us Johnson County is going to have 200,000 people head this way.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't start working together, and Judge Bedecker got the master plan working with Freeze Nichols, if we don't start working together, we're going to have a bigger mess than we got right now. So
unity is important, isn't it?
It is.
Absolutely.
It's good for the right hand to know what the left hand's doing sometimes.
Yeah. And the amount of ideas comes out in these get-togethers is just really from Jacob Wheat on 67 Alvarado. They are a small town, and all of a sudden they've got all these rooftops going up, infrastructure and all that. And now they've got somebody, well, how'd y'all do it? And I've got a lot of people to be thankful for in my lives on becoming a new mayor and how they helped me and how they're there for my questions and stuff. But yeah, I'm glad you asked that.
No, that's good. Sounds like, no, that's, just want to know what you're up to, what we're up to here. I think that's a good thing. I think y'all sharing information and being able to collaborate, and especially when you're planning the transportation, the roads in this county and what they're going to be doing, working with the county and all that kind of stuff. We've grown so much in the last 12 years. We've added 50,000 people to this county. We've grown by 30% or more, and that's going to continue. Mm-hmm. And it is. And so it's good to have y'all collaborating, not just on that stuff, but whatever projects are going, whatever information needs to be put out there from the different mayors and different cities and elected officials that are in the area. So I think that's great. Good deal. I'm glad that, and I think Mayor Kane's been on the show with you, hadn't he? Before
he actually ran the show. I had a function I had to go to, and he just stepped in and took the show over.
Good. And you'll have other mayors and elected officials. Good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Hopefully, we're going to be able to do live shows, and the chambers of that town will select the restaurant.
Okay.
And we'll go sit down and take questions with their mayor and have the audience, and we'll see. I mean, we got some plans.
That's awesome.
We're not trying to grow it. This is a long-term setup, I hope. So we're not trying to jump in here and try to do everything at once.
Perfect. It's really great. You got to start the good foundation of building unity on the county level right here, so that then whenever Johnson County gets together and other counties get together, then they can make District 58 pretty good too.
Yes, ma'am.
Build some unity there too.
And it takes a group to get this to work. I'm so proud of Judge Bedecker on some of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He's brought everybody together. He should. I mean, he's the county, and he's got the mayors to meeting and stuff of that rate. So it's a great mutual effort. But what about, I hadn't known you except for maybe a couple of years. And I want to thank you up front that you always answer my phone calls. And I really appreciate that. But I don't know anything about you.
Where are you from?
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
I've heard you and Scott talk a lot,
yeah.
and I assume you're a local.
Mm-hmm.
But what's local?
Well, pretty local. So many of your listeners may or may not have heard of Goat Neck, but I grew up in a little community called Goat Neck, Texas.
No, wait a minute.
Goat Neck. It's all one word.
What's a Goat Neck?
Well,
be careful.
Yeah, I know. It's about that far from a goat's head. No, it's a Goat Neck, Texas. And to be even more specific for the old timers in Goat Neck, it's a Freeland Highland community, but it's out southwest part of Johnson County, out past the state park. If you go down Park Road, keep going, just keep on going till you get to the river. And that's where I grew up, was out in the country, out near the river on a small farm out there. And we were poor kids. I did not know that until I got to school.
I was there.
And my mom and dad were wonderful, and never really clued me in that I was poor or anything like that, because we had a good family life. I loved it, and family was always important. grandparents lived close and all that stuff. And then that community out there in Goat Neck, you really didn't know who you were related to or who were friends or whatever. So as a kid growing up, I just assumed everybody was related, and we called them aunt whatever or uncle whomever. I mean, we just all the kids out there, and so anyways, that's where I grew up, and I I was bused into Cleburne schools and rode the bus every day. First one on the bus and last one off every day, which is okay. I met my
going parallel.
yeah, it sounds like it. So and you really want to talk about country. So I met my wife when I was about 5 years old. This was not a prearranged marriage. Y'all should know that. We don't do that.
She was not related.
Correct. And as far as I know, she didn't come from aunt or uncle anybody. But she
wasn't from Goat Neck.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, she was across the river. I mean, across the creek, frankly, across Camp Creek on the other side of Daisy Springs. So she wasn't. But we met at church out there at New Hope Baptist Church, and which was founded in 1865. Doesn't have a baptismal, so we were baptized in the creek. But the year I was baptized, the creek was dry, so I was baptized in the river. Anyways, whatever. So Jennifer, my closest girl neighbor growing up, we met, and now doesn't that sound country? My closest girl neighbor growing up became my future wife. Now, we were never romantically involved or anything because I wasn't really good enough to date till I went off to school. And then when I went off to school, then I was because I just worked for her dad. I worked at the park. I mowed whatever I could do out there. Worked on the farm and built fences. So I was just kind of the help. But she, when I went to school, I became good enough to date or whatever. That's my joke, anyways, and went on from there. But that's a little picture of where I'm from is Goat Neck, Texas, out there in the sticks, from a rural ag community, and that's what we did. Still do. Still do. Yeah. What about you?
A little bitty town.
Okay.
I went to Tech. My first monster class, which was 500 kids.
Yeah.
Was nearly as big as my whole town.
Yeah.
Nearly. It was a little bit bigger, but not much.
Really?
But yeah, and that's kind of thing. I met my wife. I was working at Texas Instruments in Lubbock.
All right.
And she was on a work study program, and I met her at Texas Instruments.
Okay.
I don't know if she's regretted that at the rest of her life or not. I kind of drug her through some stuff, but we started out in Lubbock, then moved to Burleson, started Texas Overhead Door.
Yes, sir.
So
there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Good.
Now my nephew has it. He's doing a great job on that. I'm proud of Eric. But yeah, I mean, I had a summer job. I was on the farm.
Yeah.
Hauling hay.
Yep.
That's not that round bell stuff. That's the
square
out there at 110 degrees, putting it on the trailer and stacking it in a hot barn.
Yep.
So
that is true work. That is true.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew it was true work because I get back to football practice after the summer working for my future father-in-law at the time, hauling hay and doing stuff like that. And I'll be like,
vacation,
yeah, this ain't, what are y'all worried about? This ain't that bad.
I remember when football season started, we had 2-a-days.
Yeah.
I had to go move irrigation pipe. I'm not talking about these rolling wheels, but this is 30-foot joints at a time, 2 joints over. Okay. I would go move 3 quarter-mile lines before I went to football workout. That's in the morning.
Yeah.
And in the evening, I would work out, and then Dad would help me move the last times a day. So that was twice a day.
Boy, we had it bad, didn't we? Actually, we didn't, though.
No.
That was some of my favorite best times of my lives. I love it. I cherish it.
Without the hauling hay.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want to do the hauling hay
no
no more.
Built character and everything else. But
one of my football buddies during the summer was helping us move hay, and he picked up one, was going to throw it up. You know, you have the trailer.
Yep.
He's going to throw it up on another layer, and he picked this sucker out, and there was a rattlesnake bailed into the bale. Was looking at Gerald right in the face, and he threw this thing smooth over the trailer. Just So
his Incredible Hulk kicked in. He didn't want to get.
He played football for AC. I don't know if it was ACC at the time or ACU. But anyway, he went to Abilene, played a little football.
You know, I grew up here, and y'all didn't ask me, but
we're about to.
I'm from Burleson, Texas, and we have to say it like that because I'm really from Burleson, Texas.
Burleson, you got
Burleson.
You got the burr in the name. Right?
Yeah, and I only had to chunk hay bales about 2 weeks every summer when I'd go visit my brother. But I did it. That was fun.
How many bales did you lift, sir?
I did a lot.
Did you really?
Oh yeah. I mean, you know, it was either him doing it by himself or his wife or me. And, like for 2 weeks, they put me to work.
Yes.
But now I can lift truck batteries and stuff. It's fine.
Of course.
I make it work, something about being from Johnson County. I think they just sort of build us a little different around here, and they make us fix things instead of just throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right?
Hey, you're right.
And so, I think that's, Chris showed up to fix some things in town, and you showed up a while back and started trying to fix things in the district. And here we are. I'm fixing trucks and got a new bracelet for a collar on my work truck that I got to replace. Like we're here to fix things, right?
Amen.
See, and this is what the conversations are about. I didn't know that about Sarah.
Yeah,
I really know.
You never know.
A hay holler.
Yeah.
Did you wear it?
We all got that in common.
Did you wear a big old hat when you hauled hay?
Oh no, no, I did not.
I didn't either.
This is my daddy's hat though, so I didn't wear the hat, and it was still his.
I love it.
So that brings up a good point. Why in the world did you get into politics?
Well, I don't want to give you a long story, but it is a little bit of one, but I won't go too far into it. But so, growing up, my parents always served. They were always, and growing up in that church out there in that community, we all were just kind of there for each other. And even when somebody would move away, we'd all get together and do like a money tree thing and send that person off with a little pocket change and whatever. And I just grew up in that environment. And, we were big 4-H FFA kids and stuff like that, and never had much, but you just stepped up and helped the other person, wanted to see other people succeed. And I grew up with that. And went off to Tarleton, went off to A&M in Tarleton, and then really wasn't sure what I was going to do, but I got an internship. And did an unpaid internship with then Ag Commissioner Rick Perry, and learned about what was out there in Austin. Actually went to work for 2 House members after that, and worked for Commissioner Perry when he was Ag Commissioner as his coordinator for special issues until he ran for Lieutenant Governor. And then Jennifer and I moved back home. And I never thought I'd be back in Austin. But that spirit of service never left. And I had that experience. I started volunteering. And as y'all both know, as you volunteer, you're voluntold, and before you know it, you're involved in everything. And I was on the historical commission and just willing to do things, and try my best, and served on the economic development commission, and then fire commissioner at one point, and then served as a school board member. I ran for the school board and got on that. And then this position came open, and based on my experiences and my volunteer efforts and kind of what I knew, I was approached to run by people in the community and people at the Farm Bureau and things like that. I was a Farm Bureau president, and I prayed about it. Our family got together and we prayed about this. It was a huge decision, and whether we wanted to get involved or not, and what it meant for our family. And we took it on and looked at it as a mission, as a ministry. And I believe if you're a believer, you're in the ministry every day, 24 hours a day. You wake up on mission, and that's how we viewed it. And so we, no guarantee win or lose, but we were going to go down the path that was lit, and we felt like that was the path that was lit for us. And so we did that, and as God would have it, we won the race, and here we are. But it was really about service and about being on mission and ministry, and then doing what's best according to our biblical principles and the state constitution, and preserving property rights and people's individual rights, all things that were near and dear to me growing up out in that community. And they're branded as conservative values. I just knew them as what I thought was right. And so that's really what it was. And, we had experiences that helped us and have helped us, even with policy here in Austin, dealing with, eminent domain, all kinds of things that I never knew. God prepares you for things, and you go through wins and losses and tough times and good times. And hopefully, if you're paying attention, you grow from those things, and then learn when God prepares you to do something, you're able to do that, and with his help. And so that's really how we got involved with all this.
Man, that's such a good message, because people think that because you've already learned all this stuff that God's going to put you in a position to use all that stuff. Well, usually he doesn't usually call the equipped, he equips the called. And so as you're working and as you're doing and as you're serving, you're learning how to go further and do the next step and change the next thing and further your progress and get where you're going. Man, that's good.
Amen. That's the
good
thing.
for me.
You're right. Look at I'm no Moses, but look at Moses. You know, look at most of the people God called. They were not at their prime. They were not in their. You know, they weren't perfect. They weren't. There was only one perfect one. We know who that was, Jesus. But everyone else, you know, had all the problems, the issues and stuff. But they had gone and they went through the adversity. Look at Paul. You know. And then God equipped them and used them in a miraculous way to where you could see God.
Mm-hmm.
If he used the perfect person that could do everything already, you know, for the
He'd
jobs.
get the credit instead of God.
Yeah, that's right. Well, good. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Good.
You go to church.
Man, I'm ready.
Here.
Well, I tell you what,
I'm on my second cup of coffee. Let's
you rattle around, and something comes out of your mouth. I just go, my goodness, she is smart.
That was good. I never doubted it, man. And spirit filled.
Well, yeah.
There's just something about that.
Definitely got that. My daddy was he was raised heathen and full blood.
Raised heathen. That's good.
Part Cherokee. And well his aunt ran brothels in Galveston.
Oh wow.
And his daddy was a bootleg runner from Galveston all the way up north. And my grandmother was a Harvey girl. And I don't know if y'all know what that was the original truck stop.
Oh, I do know.
Yeah, and like they were supposed to be protected girls, whatever, and Harvey took care of them, protected them. They were supposed to be safe, not taken over by truckers or whatever. Anyway, so they got married and had my dad, and then my dad met this East Texas Southern Baptist girl, and
that'll set you straight.
Well, and you know, it's the fourth wife, you know. Something had to change. Anyway, God showed up. So yeah, and he's been called Baptist-costal my whole life. And so I got a whole bunch of that.
That's wonderful.
That's a neat story though. That really is.
Well, you know,
that's good. Yeah,
that just barely gets it started.
I guess down the road that I went is I wasn't in politics, wasn't around anybody, and it was just shown to me and asked, and we prayed about it, and things happened, and we felt it was the right thing to do. So yeah, but this deal of, I know I get up and talk. I don't read speeches. Sometimes I do because they're so good that I don't want to leave anything out. But most of the time I just get up and talk. And I remember when this first started, I'd sit down next to Nancy and she'd say, "Where'd that come from?" and we started figuring that out. I mean, there's so many times that I get up, and when I get through, I said it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a way to go. I love just visiting. The communication between these mayors and DeWayne and Roger Williams and all these other mayors that we've known, Trevino and Jeff Williams, all these guys, this goes through this stuff in such a way that.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna have you move up. Hold on for interruption.
There we go.
I'm gonna shut this door right there.
Got it.
There we go.
Oh, that was different.
Oh, sorry, we had
no problem.
We got to keep it quiet on the radio.
You asked about what it was. What's the purpose of this show? It's about not just getting us going, but a place that future mayors can go to ask questions. The TRTC, they're trying to do a mentoring program with Trevino and Jeff Williams, John Huffman, who's running for Congress, all these other mayors out there. Victor Vandergrift, Tom Vandergrift's son, is just amazing. And these new mayors need to have that contact with people that's done it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the purpose of this show. But the face drive is the only thing that has gotten me through this. Touch base real quick. You're having a let's say how we can put, and I bring this up and I sympathize with you because I went through the same thing in my last election. You're getting brutalized.
Yeah.
And that's it really upsets me because I know how it feels. And I want to compliment you on how you're handling it. You're not fighting back. You're just saying what you're doing. And I have seen some stuff, and we're going to get into this in the second half a little bit more. But I have seen some stuff that I didn't understand why you voted that way. But this is that communication thing where I called you up And I said, I want you to explain to me why. And they leave that out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just amazing how they are doing something. And I've really gotten upset about some of the mailers that I've gotten. And I'm not
upset or entertained.
There's a lot of them too.
No, when you're
no,
done,
I know.
when you're done that way, you get upset for somebody.
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah.
And
No, for sure.
That's the way I'm at. This has been so. I know this is hard on you, and I want you to explain why you're not attacking back.
Sure. And so the truth shall prevail in this whole deal. That's the deal. And so I put the truth out there, and if the truth isn't good enough, well then there you have it. But the bottom line is, you're right. There's a lot of it. I've never seen anything like it in my life. My family's, they're all
it's hard
up in arms and everything. Yeah. And, I've had to tell my mom, just get off Facebook, mama. And that's no good comes out of that stuff. But it's tough. But I guess I'm an optimist, and I believe the best. It's given us a platform to talk about some issues that maybe we wouldn't have, and put the context out there so that people understand where all this stuff is coming from. And I'm fighting back by putting the truth out there and really trying to do that about what I'm being attacked on, which is it's not true. All that stuff's not true. It is coming from out of state, and different places like that.
We're going to discuss that too.
We can get into it, but it's all the best thing to combat it with is kindness and truth. And so that's what I'm going to do. And, the truth shall prevail on this deal. And nobody has to feel sorry for me or anything. I'm a big boy. And I know what I signed up for and things like that. It's not fair. It's not right. It hurts my family, hurts my church members, man. And it hurts my family and friends. But they've shown up and loved on me, and that helps. And so we'll get through this.
I can't wait to hear more about it and what else you're moving forward with 58 in just 3 minutes. We'll be right back.
Yeah, nowhere but Texas.
If you're trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
The voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
Nowhere but Texas. That's where I'll be. Get home's the answer to all my dreams. I
Well, welcome back, everybody, to the second half of the County Pulse here on Joco Community Radio. Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network and on our station app. Simply search your store and check out our lineup and more at tuneinjoco.com. And we're so grateful to all of our wonderful sponsors. EMG, of course, which is our parent company, swipenation.us, Todd Hurd & Associates, thetiffy.com, and Scrub Buddies. And of course, this show specifically is brought to you by none other than Alpha and Omega Pest Control here in Burleson, Texas. You can give them a call. They've been here since 1998. Did you know that, Sarah? 1998.
I did not, but I know that they have serviced our offices many years.
Yep, here at the radio station and in my home. And, we choose them for our home and office because of their great service. And we believe that you deserve the best of the best, just like they can provide to you. Licensed pros are second to none. Call 817-426-4445 and get a free inspection today, and they can get you hooked up. So we absolutely love Tim. He's a great partner to our communities. So thank you, guys.
We ready?
Welcome back.
Oh, it's been a good one. I want to bring up, I got a text from Lisa Schwartz, and she wanted me to mention the Ocho Loco 5K race walk fun run. That's going to be on March 16th out at the Chisholm Hall Park. So
what is that for?
That's Crazy 8 Ministries.
Crazy 8 Ministry.
They do a great job.
Yep.
They sure do. She's a good friend, good bunch, and great ministry that they have been doing for years.
I first went to one of those Bible studies when I first moved back home after getting divorced. And as a good Southern Baptist, it's really hard to go home whenever you've gotten divorced because you're not supposed to do that. And I was trying to figure it out.
Thank goodness there's not any judgmental people out there.
Well, no, not at all. But she said, the word I keep hearing for you is order. And so I've not forgotten that word, was order. I'm like, well, okay. I'm still trying to figure it out. That's been 10 years now.
That's good.
This mayor thing that I've got is really opened my eyes to how many good nonprofits we have in this town.
Yeah.
And the people that donate to them and help out. It's pretty amazing. So, well, you ready to jump in?
Let's jump in it.
Okay, doke. So,
get ready. He said, if you're waiting on me, you're backing
my wife
up.
makes fun of me saying okie doke. Okay, sorry.
Do we need some waiters on for this?
See how much shit we can shovel.
We'll see.
If you notice, I kept myself out of the conversation as to where in Texas are you from, because I grew up in New Jersey.
Jersey.
So
y'all don't like it when they say Jersey, do you?
No, it's Jersey. Yeah, we say Jersey. We usually say Jersey.
Nobody else can.
What we don't like is when people say, "Oh, you're from New Jersey." Nobody says New Jersey.
Has anybody from Texas said that?
Yes, all the time.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I didn't know it's like pronunciated that way.
It's like the barbecue sauce commercial. New York City.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but we're here. We're in District 58. So
what all does District 58 cover? Who all is in District 58?
Great question. So we have about 200,000 people, a little over, in our district, and we are Somerville County and Johnson County.
Okay.
Prior to this year, it was before redistricting, it was Johnson County and Bosque County.
Mm-hmm.
But due to population growth in our area, there were some changes made, and now it's Somerville County and Johnson County.
Very good.
Yeah, you bet. It's a
All
great
right.
district. Great place.
Okay, so we've got issues. We've got our growth. We've got the border. We've got ISDs. There are so many things that's kind of
all heavy hitters right now.
Yeah, absolutely. But what I'm seeing is, why are bills combined? I mean, why didn't the teacher raises, why did that get mixed in with something else?
Great question. I wouldn't have had it that way. In fact, the House passed a plan specifically on the the teacher pay raises and other improvements to public education. Had to deal with some accountability things, everything else. We passed a bill to the Senate and House Bill 100 earlier in the year, and it just didn't come back. It didn't. We never got it passed. And
it's the fault of who?
I would say the Senate. Yeah. Okay. And but and so when we did eventually get a bill back from the Senate, in the last special session that came back, and it had once we sent it over and it came back, but it had the voucher program tied to it. We got many of the same things we had sent over in House Bill 100 earlier in the year, and then sent this bill, and it came back. This bill came back with
paper clipped.
Yeah, had a few extra things on it in addition to the accountability changes and some of the things, and mainly the teacher pay raises and things that were going to be monumental for our teachers and public education. But included in that bill was a voucher plan, and that's kind of what this election has become about. And because I voted to remove that voucher plan from the bill.
So
which did not cancel the whole bill. That was y'all just voted to remove that portion of it from that bill.
Yeah, to be clear, there was an amendment offered that stripped the voucher plan out of the bill. I voted for that amendment, so the voucher plan was stripped out of the bill, and then the bill should have moved forward, and we would have all voted for that bill and gotten the teacher pay raise. But the author of the bill pulled the bill down.
Who was the author?
Brad Buckley. And he pulled the bill down, and we were not able to vote on the whole bill after that. And he's the chair of he's Republican chairman of the Public Education Committee, and he's from Central Texas, and veterinary, good person. But he pulled that bill down, and so we weren't able to take a vote on that. And I believe it's because they really felt like if you didn't have a vehicle that could pull the voucher plan across the finish line, that the voucher plan wasn't going to pass on its own for sure.
Mm-hmm.
They needed to tie it to the pay raises and all that stuff
in
order
popular.
In order to get it passed. And then once we pulled it out, well, then they said, well, we can't let all this stuff go. We've got to stop that, because we won't have a vehicle for it. And that's how it ended. I really thought at some point cooler heads would prevail and we get the vote for, and they'd allow us to take a vote on that bill for the teacher pay raises and all that kind of stuff. But we just, it ran out of time. And so it's unfortunate, but yeah, I voted against the voucher plan, and that's how we find ourselves where we are today.
Okay. So the other part of that, the vouchers,
mm-hmm.
My wife's a retired school teacher. She's against the vouchers, not adamantly,
mm-hmm.
because she believes that parents have a choice to have their kids taught where they wanted to be taught.
Sure.
I understand that.
Me too.
But I understand that the ISDs have got such a size that they need money to maintain that if the kids leave. I know that they get paid by the seats in the chair.
Yeah, average daily attendance, weighted average daily attendance, and you're right about that. But I agree with you. I agree with her. I agree there. We have school choice, and that's the deal. There's school choice, and then there's vouchers, and some people lump them together and they call the whole thing school choice, and that's what in this case, the governor's voucher plan, he calls it school choice, but it was really this voucher plan, and the bottom line on the plan for me was it was expensive. It cost too much money. It was going to be new spending on a new subsidy program, basically. And it was going to be $1 billion in the first biennium, which is the first 2 years. And then it was going to be $2 billion the next, $2.3 billion the next. Yeah. And this is new spending, okay, out of our budget surplus. So it actually wasn't coming out.
So this is not a renewable fund.
No, this is our surplus, not the rainy day fund. This was just our budget surplus from this biennium for this.
You're telling me that they want to pay for something that they don't know where the money's going to come from.
That's true. So eventually, when the surplus runs out, where's it coming from?
Property tax.
That's right. One way or the other.
Property tax. That's what everybody's screaming about, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, they ought to. If they're not, they ought to be.
They got a long-term plan to go up on it.
And that's a fundamental problem for me, because there is look, there are two issues that affect this district more than anything. Number one is the border security. It affects the whole nation. If you're not aware of it, I mean, I don't know where you're at, because it is the issue for this country. It is the issue for this state. It is the issue for this city. I mean, it is the issue, but property taxes right behind it. People are getting taxed out of their homes. And it's an outcry. There's an outcry for that. And I just couldn't in good conscience go and vote for something that was going to add billions of dollars in spending in a new program. At the same time, we're trying to tell everybody we're going to cut your taxes. We want to eliminate them, but at the same time, we're adding this spending. And I just couldn't in good conscience do that. And that was just one part of it. The other part of it was, or one of the other parts of it was that the fact that that illegal immigrants were going to be eligible for the voucher.
Well, that's a federal thing too.
Yeah,
the federal government passed. Back years ago,
Supreme Court.
No matter who comes in, you have to educate them.
Yeah, U.S. Supreme Court said in 1975 in a court decision that states have to educate all children legally and illegally. In fact, we can't even ask if you're here legally or illegally. I learned that when I was serving on school board. But that was the deal. The governor wanted a universal voucher program. And, I worked with his office. Many of us worked to try to pare that back, different things, whether we focused on, certain population of kids, whatever, just try to see what we were doing. But universal program, which meant if you're enrolled in school, you're eligible, and which includes illegal immigrants. And I just couldn't. So the Constitution says we're going to provide free and public education for all kids. Supreme Court decision says we're going to include illegal immigrants, but there's nothing there that says we have to create a new spending program that would benefit them and allow them to go to private school on your dime or my dime. And so I was against it. And, along with those two issues, you had the other issues of the cost of administering the program was just out of the roof. And then the strings that were attached, there's always strings attached to government money. And, what
there are no free lunches.
No, there's not. And I had homeschool folks, and we have some great homeschool pods. We have some great private schools in our community. And I believe that a parent ought to be able to send their kid to any school in any district, any private school, any homeschool, and it ought to be easy for them to do that. In fact, I have legislation that we've written that says takes away some of those barriers, so that if you're in a school in an area in a district that's failing you personally, and you don't think your kids are getting what they need, then you could transfer to another school in that district without any problem, or a school in another district. And we have families that do that. We have families in this community that have a kid that goes to one school in one district and another school in another district, because we're fortunate that they're all 15 minutes away at the furthest, and they choose the schools that benefit their kids, and I support that.
So how come we can't take that surplus and figure out why these schools are failing these parents and these children?
Well, that's a great question, and I'm not necessarily saying we even need to throw money at it. Yeah, it's about diving down and seeing what the good schools are doing, and let's emulate that. Let's replicate that. And part of it's on the state. I mean, part of it is we got to point the finger at ourselves too, because the STAR test, all of the rules, all the strings that are attached to teaching kids these days, and the extra red tape that goes in that creates administration and different things like that. We got to cut through that. I've carried bills every session that would either eliminate the STAR test completely. I've joined Arthur Gwim, or I even have a bill. This is where common sense fails us sometimes. I have a bill that I have filed repeatedly that would eliminate the requirement for kids with significant cognitive disabilities to have to take the STAR test. Right now they have to. Now they can take the Alt 2 STAR test or whatever, a modified version, but they still have to take this test. And some of these kids are measuring success by whether or not they can pick up a fork that day. It's not right. And I have carried that bill, and we've gotten it through the House before, but we've never passed it. And people are like, why? Why wouldn't something like that pass? And I can tell you it's tied to money. Federal funding, TEA, they kill the thing because they say it's going to jeopardize funding for our schools, and it's not true. And I've fought that, and I'll continue to fight that, because there's no quit in me on these issues. But it just takes time and effort to dive in and figure out what to do to fix these schools that are failing. And because at the end of the day, what's best for kids? Let's do that.
Okay, I got one quick quick answer on this too. On the STAR test.
Yeah.
What's a passing grade? It's like 30 something, isn't it?
Yeah, and it moves, based on the sample sizes and who takes it and all that kind of stuff. It's
so if a school is passing the STAR test, that's not a great big pat on the back, it sounds like to me.
Right. But it sure can be used to punish them.
And it's more of an accountability for the teacher ranking versus where a child is in the education for the year. Yeah, you don't have to pass the STAR test to move on to the next grade level.
That's right.
That's not what it is. It's a ranking test so that they can take the scores from each class and look at the teacher, and is the teacher doing what they're supposed to be doing? So the entire school year is based on teaching to the test, not just teaching to educate.
They're not getting to teach anymore.
Right. They have to teach to the test to make sure that they passed this. And this is a big problem that most schools have in Texas when they're members of TASB.
I wish
a whole nother issue.
I just really leave the teachers alone, just let them teach. I mean, I'm a husband of a teacher.
Me too.
And we don't let them teach. They got all these people looking over their shoulders, overcrowded classrooms.
Yeah.
It's miserable.
There's a lot of problems.
And what they get paid too.
Well, DeWayne, we were talking about this when you were on the morning show, that let's say this voucher program that Governor Abbott's trying to push through, if that were to pass, included in that would be the cost of $40 million being paid to an outside company to manage the voucher funding, right? Like where all the money's going.
Yeah, we're going to get into that.
Well, but being that it's not, we've got $40 million sitting somewhere clearly to pay these people, or it would be something another added on, somewhere they're going to pull it from the taxes. I don't know. I mean, without the voucher, why aren't we using that $40 million to?
Well, but here's the deal on the voucher. People can already take their kids and take them to another school, right?
Sure. That's school of choice.
That's school of choice.
Yeah.
Yes. The situation that we're dealing with is people pay into the school system, but even if they take those kids somewhere else, is that correct?
Correct. Yeah, that's right. And the money follows the kid as long as they stay in the public school system currently. You're doing, based on average daily attendance and things like that. So money would stay with that child. So money follows the kid as long as you're in the public school system. But the voucher would have been additional in addition to that, out of the surplus would have said $10,000 to take this kid to private school. And which is what's best for the kid. Let's do what's best for the kid. Let's give parents all choices and all the tools that necessary to educate their kiddos. But we just I can't justify a new tax burden, and that's going to be just more of a huge burden, frankly. Erase the tax cuts that we've already adopted as a state in November, $18 billion, and then come back and put another $7 billion on top of that, add back to it over the next few years. I just couldn't in good conscience do that. And and again, yeah, as you were saying, Tiffany, the administration of the program was $40 million to an outside company. That didn't make any sense to me. And so there were a lot of reasons.
The company that
just to run the program, like just to oversee the program.
This is a company that deals with managing voucher systems. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And they're helping to defame you.
Well, I don't make that connection necessarily to me. I haven't, but I do know that the folks that support this program are from out of state, and they have donated a lot of money to individuals and to these PACs that are located out of state to run these awful ads that all your listeners are probably getting on their texts, getting phone calls, getting texts, and me too. Yeah, they send them to me too. And then, and in their mailboxes every day. All that stuff's being funded by people that are donating from out of state to
line their own pockets.
Yeah. I mean, it's
that's upsetting.
It's
Texas,
incredible.
Can I rewind?
Be in our state.
Can I rewind for just a second, because I think this is really important. So let's say a person decides to take their child out of public school, put them into private school. They're going to get $10,000 to that school, to that private school, correct? It pays directly to them. It doesn't go back to the parent.
Correct.
It goes to that school. $10,000. Now, if that person's
your tuition, though,
if that person's property taxes are less than that to go to public, the average person is not paying 10 grand a year in property taxes just to the school portion, right? Is that fair enough to say?
Right. Probably so.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
on average, yeah.
Okay, so now you're going to give this person who's paying, let's say, $3,000 a year in property taxes that go towards the school burden, public school burden, right? Now we're going to give them an extra, we're going to give them an extra 7 grand. We're basically paying for them to go to private school.
Well, and it's not
I
even
just want
coming-
people to
well, it's not even
understand what
coming
that
off of their
means.
tuition.
Yeah.
You still have to pay the same amount of tuition. It's not coming off of somebody's tuition.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Why
Right.
can't we
Right.
just reimburse what they paid the ISD tax?
that's an idea.
It would be great.
Get your money back for the year. You've got to come up with the extra funds
Whatever it is.
to do that. I mean, people are.
Well, that 10 grand would
Something, but
make
that's
it no
fair.
longer be private. It's no longer private school. You have now made it a government entity.
Mm-hmm. There's strings attached to that too.
Yeah.
Yep.
There will be, and the strings will only increase. Even if it starts with very few or no strings attached, there will be strings
Right.
attached, because as we go forward, we're gonna have, if a voucher plan were to go into place like that, we would have to prove that we're getting our money's worth, as you do at the city, county, or any government level, national. You have to be able to show that it's a good investment, that it's proper for the taxpayers, that there is no funny business going on once it gets there. And there's a lot of strings attached. And so many of the strings that we feel like are burdening our public schools would then be placed on private schools or homeschoolers. And, I was in discussions where they talked about, well, how are we going to test these kiddos? Well, we'll just make them take the STAR test at a local education service center or at a local high school. I'm talking about homeschool and private school kids,
Which
that
is the whole
get
reason
these
why a lot
vouchers.
of these people are doing
Yeah, that's the
homeschool.
last thing I want to do is expand who has to take the daggum STAR test. No way. And that's not how it's settled, but those were the discussions. And then you have the accountability of, we have PEMS, what we call PM, IMS, stay in public school, where we can trace and make sure there's accountability for how the dollars are spent and all that stuff. They're spent in the right ways and everything. Well, what are we going to do with private schools and homeschools? It'd be a micromanagement deal. And many homeschools have contacted me and said, thanks for not messing up our good thing here.
Well, you're also letting the government into your private schools. People have to understand that you're looking at, but we
Yeah,
want
they're no longer private.
less government in our business, in our education, and this is allowing them to get more into our, and it also, they can't discriminate from what type of private school that student's going to.
Here's the only thing
That's true.
that worries me the most. And I'm going to go back to Ann Richards and the lottery funds. Y'all remember this when they said, let's do the lottery? Do you remember where the fund was supposed to go?
Education.
Supposed to go to
It's not going
education.
there.
Where does it go now? The general fund. Okay. My biggest problem with our government right now is they can take something good and divert it.
Mhm.
So whatever we have now, we got to be careful, because it's going to get changed down the road. Someone's going to say, oh, they got too much money, or we need that money somewhere else. That bothers me. And that's the thing, that as much as I care about this governor that did that, that's that bothers me.
It's
So-
tough. This would have been arguably one of the largest expansions of government in our lifetime here in the state, as far as state government goes. And here's the deal. I've been with Governor Abbott on every issue pretty much. I mean, 99 out of 100. We have fought together for years. So we came in at the same time. We've worked closely together on, when we had the bills to stop the defunding of police. I carried a portion of that at the governor's request to be a part of that. We property tax cuts that came through, I was with him on that. Border security, when I served on Homeland Security and Public Safety, I mean, I was right there with him and helped get those things through the border prosecution unit, transnational intelligence unit, all those kind of things. This is just the one issue that we don't agree on, and it's unfortunate that it's come to this.
I had Abbott up on a pedestal, and I'm really disappointed in the way they're attacking you and kind of twisting the word. So,
well,
praying for you, big boy.
Thank you.
I think the scarier thing, and I think this is just, again, every voter has to go do their due diligence and do their own investigating, but I'm just not hearing it a lot from the actual candidate. It's Paxton and it's our governor, and they're just so in our local business right now, and people should be very terrified of that, in my personal opinion.
Let me close out one other thing. One thing that's bothering me right now is the way Austin is going at municipalities and our revenue streams and how we can do things. That all of this is getting to be kind of scary.
Mm-hmm.
So, but this has been a great, DeWayne.
Man, DeWayne, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I know. I mean, you're a good person and a great friend. Okay.
Thank you.
And you've done a great job for Johnson County and for the 58th district, and we wish you the best of luck. And if you've got direct questions for him, be sure to reach out to him at burns4texas.com.
I hope you get to play more golf.
Maybe.
I can't wait.
Maybe Sarah and I'll go play some.
I'm ready.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Yeah, nowhere but Texas.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godly, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.